Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a line that completely demolishes the Annihilape. And this is something that is quite decent in the current meta because nearly everybody is running Annihilape. And so we're going to have a team here with the LilyKatchum and two Coffins in the back, I guess. We have a Rodriguez and a Thackery. Yes, you can play them two together. I know for like a lot of the regional variants, for example, it would be cool to play them together as well, like a normal 9-hits and a loaded 9-hits, but you can. But here, we have two different type of Pokemon because they have two different names, even though they're basically like kind of similar to what a low 9-hits is to a normal 9-hits, but it is what it is. We're going to see here the Thackery in the back, trying to farm down the opponent's Germnaa. I was a little bit too late here at throwing. By the way, I think I said yesterday in the video as well, I was not really well playing those belts, so there are going to be some misplays in here as well, so sorry about that, but yeah, that's basically because of that. You shouldn't really play Bigger Battle League with a headache. But anyway, we want to see here already that we're going to have an interesting moveset on our Rodriguez. Rodriguez usually runs Sand Tomb and Shadow Ball as its best moveset, which can help also against Pokemon like a Bastion, which is kind of funny because that was not planned that we see one here. But we are running Rock Tomb. Why is that so? Why did I think this would be the better shout to go for? I needed a Say Swap, and I needed a Say Swap that can deal with a Dark-type Pokemon kinda-ish, I guess. But, for example, Rock Tomb was mainly for Mandibuzz, never happened, like never encountered one, so like that never really helped us. Rock Tomb still going to have some use here sometimes, but generally speaking, I would rather go for Sand Tomb over Rock Tomb, I have to say that. For example, here as well, this would be a better matchup for Sand Tomb because you can go for Sand Tomb and then kind of get the opponent into a range where you can just go for the Shadow Ball. But we're going to decide to go ahead and go for a Rock Tomb instead, which is going to get the shield, but also going to allow us to get a guaranteed attack drop, which is like the only benefit of running Rock Tomb here, and also survive a Scald. So maybe it was actually kind of good to have Rock Tomb here instead now. But we can still go for a Shadow Ball. This will knock them out for sure. Goodbye there. And we can see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be a Jellicent, and we sadly don't reach another charge move. You saw right now as well that they're running Bubble, and Bubble makes it all a little bit more complicated, as Bubble is going to be fairly decent against our LilyKatchum. I completely forgot at this point what they had in the lead, by the way, also in game, by the way, but yeah, here I now realize, oh, it's a Dragalge, and so, yeah, we're still going to be in an okay spot. We're not going to lose this straight away, we're not going to win this straight away, but we can go for the full farm down, as they can only reach one Awkward Tail. Awkward Tail is not going to do too much damage, and we can try to reach that Icy Wind against the opponent's Jellicent. I know that the opponent is going to resist this, but it's very likely that they decide to use a shield, and they're going to get the attack drop, and this attack drop is going to be huge, because I feel like we might even be able to survive one Shadow Ball on our Thackery now, but it doesn't really matter anyway, because it can just farm them down no matter what. Next opponent, we're going to have a Swampert in the lead. Again, something where you kind of want to stay in. Our Rodriguez is not really going to have a great time against it. Thackery would be kind of neutral, and our lead should be able to win this all the time in the two-shield scenario, so that's kind of what we're going to go for. We're going to let the next move go through. It is going to be just the Hydro Cannon, but it's still going to be a scary matchup as I swap out into the Skarmory, and we can go for the Icy Wind, which is going to allow us to debuff the opponent's attack, which is quite nice for us. But also, we can let those moves now go through, like a Shadow Ball. No, Shadow Ball. A Brave Bird is not going to be enough. Well, we could go for a Shadow Ball, but I decided to go ahead and go for the Rock Tomb. This is a play that I regret, kinda. It is still going to work out because they use a shield, but it was very unnecessary. Like, this could have easily cost me quite an awkward position here, because like anyway, like I would have been able to just go for the Shadow Ball and would have also been able to reach the next one in time, as you just saw there. Like I was one away, and like Rock Tomb takes a little bit more, but if they let the move go through, I would have been in a way worse spot. So yeah, luckily they decided to go for a different route here, and we hopefully can still win this game. It is going to be a close one. The Hydro Cannon is going to knock me out, and it's going to be a Trevenant in the back. Can we outspeed them? We got a free fast move advantage here, so maybe we can outspeed the opponent. I'm not too sure who's winning CMP tie. Actually, no, I'm kind of sure that it's going to be the Trevenant. And we're going to most likely see this next as well. I think Trevenant is like at 1,800 bulk, while we had like 2,000 bulk or something like this. And so yeah, that's how they're going to be able to win the CMP tie, which is going to win them the game. Still, close one, good game there. Let's move on to the next opponent. A Germnaa in the lead. It's going to be a matchup where you kind of want to stay in, but you have to be a little bit careful with this team. You want to swap out for sure eventually. Why? Because you have a huge weakness to Dark-type Pokemon in the back, so if the opponent would have a dark type in the back and you're gonna get rid of your lead, you're gonna be screwed. And as they're going to have the Azumarill here, I decided to rather go into the Thackery. I said before, Thackery is usually our safe swap, depending on what you encounter though in the lead. And here I was kind of feeling that it's better for me to go into the Thackery and look at what they have in the back. And that's kind of why I say you should keep your Wigglytuff kinda alive. And this is going to be the Lostheart. And basically the game is over, right? Like there's not a lot that I can do here. We are a shield down. The opponent has a great matchup here. We have a very low health, a Wigglytuff. We still at least get rid of this Pokemon, but it's basically game over, right? Here the opponent can mostly just farm us down. Luckily not actually, because the opponent is going to swap now into the Skeledirge. And here, this is like one of the main reasons why I really think that Sand Tomb might be better than Rock Tomb. Sand Tomb would have allowed me to just get way faster to the moves here, and like this was a matchup that I had quite often actually today, which you're gonna see as well. While we predict that they decide to go for a Disarming Voice, which was our only way of winning. If they went for 2 Shadow Balls, they would have won as well, but they make a huge mistake by this, and they make even a bigger mistake now. The game would be over if they decide to use a shield here, but they decide to let this move go through, and somehow we're just going to be able to farm them down and win the game with a Wigglytuff in the back. Very weird play by the opponent, but I will take it. Speaking of weird plays, this might be one of them as well. Let's find out here together, as the opponent is gonna stay in. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting play from the opponent to wait until I go for an Icy Wind with a Gligar to go for a charge move. Not the play you should go for, just go a little bit earlier maybe for the dig, which would be way smarter for them. But speaking of way smarter, they actually outsmarted me here by going for the Aerial Ace instead of for the dig. But here, as you're gonna have a very bulky boy in the Runerigus and Thackery, both of them are really bulky as well, we were able to just take it quite easily with a debuff anyway. In comes the Skarmory. I'm happy about this. I don't really care too much about it. Like, go ahead, go for your charge move, I don't care. At least we're going to be able to go back into our Thackery, and I might just not even gonna go for a charge move. Depends if I can outspeed them. Okay, I can outspeed them, so I can go for the charge move. Otherwise, I would just went for the full farm down and would have been totally happy as well. Speaking of totally happy about this one, I'm also totally happy because that's going to be totally fine. They decided to go for a Brave Bird, and yeah, that's game over. Honestly, not too sure what they really did here. Oh, look at this, an Annihilape. Honestly, I did not encounter too many Annihilapes, which is kind of sad for this team. By the way, this team was actually quite nice. I went definitely 5-0 in my last hit. I can't really remember what the other ones were prior, but I definitely got a 5-0 for the last hit for this team. Very cool team to run. I don't think it's going to be like too crazy good later on, like the meta or whatever, because like it is more of a meme team. I kind of just wanted to have something fun to play for the beginning of the season. But this team definitely worked out quite well for me, had a lot of potential, and I feel like Thackery and Runerigus, especially Runerigus for play Pokemon tournaments. I feel like this Pokemon has so much potential for play Pokemon tournaments. Yeah, like it's kind of underrated. But here, as you can see, the opponent is going to have a Mantine. Mantine is going to be something that is going to take those hits quite easily because we're double debuffed, and so yeah, it's a little bit tricky. The opponent is going to go for a CMP tie though, which is quite good for us, as we can hopefully now go into the Wigglytuff and farm them all the way down, maybe before, oh, actually can even go for a charge move, that's even better for me. So either get the final shield or the knockout. I get the final shield, which I'm happy with, and now I can just try to win with a Just by Runerigus. 3 Pokemon left for the opponent, but can I win this? Oh, in comes the Annihilape. We make a little bit of a mistake. This is something that happened to me as well quite often today. I'm not too sure if it's just like me not being able to count because like, yeah, migraine and stuff like this or not, but I thought there would be still one away from another Night Slash here, but well played by the opponent. Kind of giving up all my health here. I'm going to try to undercharge it by quite a lot, but not enough apparently, as the opponent is not going to be able to survive that. And so we have to hope that there is going to be something in the back that we can still deal with. They're going to go into the Mantine, I can go for the full farm down, and we will never know. They decide to forfeit. So very likely something weak in the back. Honestly, this game was mad. Like, this game was just insane. I just don't really know what happened during this game, but horrible lead for us, of course. Swalot is basically 1 move away as well from being good. If Swalot gets a good poison type charge move that is around like 40 to 45 energy, this Pokemon would be actually top tier meta. Right now, it just too slow actually for the meta, which is quite ridiculous. You have a Mudshot user and that's still too slow, but yeah, sadly it is still too slow. The cheapest move it can get to is Acid Spray, which is a move that is going to debuff us completely, but also, what was that? It's a Dazzling Gleam Wigglytuff from the opponent. And here I had to predict that they decided to go for the Acid Spray here, and they decided to go for the Acid Spray, which is kind of nice. And it's going to still be an awkward spot, and again, if we had the Sand Tomb, we would have been golden. Like, there was no way the opponent would have had the chance here if we had Sand Tomb, but we don't have Sand Tomb. And the opponent has the super effective foul play, and so I think I would be able to survive one foul play because it's not stab, and Electrode has actually quite decent bulk, and so like not as much attack, but I kind of want to try to catch the next move from the opponent, but I'm not too sure if this is going to work out for us. Foul play is coming through. We are going to be able to do that, and now the opponent has no way of winning this game here anymore. Foul play, going to connect, doesn't really matter. I can overfarm it quite a bit. I can go for a Shadow Ball. And now I have to hope that I can go for another one, because Swallowed is like one of the bulkiest Pokemon that he can run right now, and they have access to the move Ice Beam, so we are forced to go straight for the charge move. But can we farm them all the way down here? We can, just in time, and now we can win this game and move on to the next opponent. What a lovely lead, but here, for this one, we are kind of forced to align ourselves again. And again, here, if I had Sand Tomb, this matchup against the opponent's Skeledirge would have been easy peasy. Of course, we're still going to have a benefit of getting the debuff onto their attack here, but if they go for a Shadow Ball, game is quite over if we're going to no-shield this one, because if they align themselves, like, there's not really a lot that I can do about it. But as you're gonna see, they decided to go for the Shadow Ball while I shield, and so I can go for the full farm down. And actually, I should be able to hit even 2 or more charge moves here against the opponent. And yeah, as you're gonna see here, this is going to connect, going to do some decent damage. And I expect that their opponent going to swap out immediately, so I actually decided to go into my my Coffin immediately here, and I was correct. They're going to have the Marowak in the back. And I was like, yeah, I can have basically 2 win cons, I guess, trying to catch a move, but honestly, I feel like Wigglytuff is going to be fine now, just gonna go for the full farm down or something. And I did not see the option for the opponent to actually run Fire Blast. And so if I went for a charge move here, I would have won. Like, the opponent doesn't do damage with the Gustod. My mistake for doing no thoughts about like the Fire Blast there, which is kind of sad, but the opponent can boom me, so congrats to the opponent, we can move on to the next one. This is basically the perfect matchup for us. Like, we don't want to have Lickitung on the back, but we want to have Lickitung in the lead. And as this team beats Annihilape, one of the most common cores is Lickitung plus Annihilape. So I'm fairly certain that they most likely have something in the back that I can deal with my backline. A lot of times they have something like a Lantern though, or like a Whiscash, so I kind of want to still keep my lead around. Also, if there's going to be a potential Dark type in the back, which also still could work out actually for them. But as you're gonna see here, I was able to catch that body slam on our Kofic and they have the Annihilape as predicted here in the back. I decided to go for the bait here, which maybe is not really ideal for us, but the opponent decided to use the shield no matter what, and so we can let the move go through even if I want to. If they go for a Shadow Ball, I get knocked out. If they go for Night Slash, I don't. They decide to go for Night Slash, and so they're forced to go for another one straight away. And for me, like, there's no real reason to go for a shield here. I can just farm them down again with our Wigglytuff. 3 more charms. Goodbye there. Annihilape has no chance against this team. And as you can see here, the Gligar is coming in, which we can just debuff and get the final shield from. So we can swap out into the Runerigas. We can take a move here. I don't care too much about it. I was expecting that they would most likely try to catch, and I could have actually go for the full farm down there. The opponent should have been energy dry at this point, so the best thing they could have got to would be like a body slam. But I decided to just go for a charge move anyway, and it doesn't matter anyways. The opponent gonna go down to that Shadow Ball, and we can move on to the final battle of today. Double Coffin team, definitely something that was not only fun, but also quite decent. As we will see, the Tropius against us here, we can use a shield against the opponent. We should be able to reach the Ice Wind before they can go for their next Leaf Blade, and we can do exactly this. And so, this is going to be a way better matchup for us, getting the shield from the opponent for sure, as they're most likely going to swap out into the Ferrothorn. I can go to my own Kofic, which is going to be able to take one charge move here, which is going to be quite important as well, as Power Whip is not going to two-shot me either, but I feel like with the additional damage of the Bullet Seed here from the opponent, it is most likely going to be enough. But also, we did quite a lot of damage here, and so we hopefully can go for the full farm run against the opponent, getting a ton of energy. And again, like, Shadow Ball from a Ghost type is usually quite decent in the current meta. I think they're going to have here the Lantern, which is actually quite okay for us. We're going to have only neutral matchups against the Lantern. The only issue for Lantern is if they would go for the full farm run here and have a million energy, because Land 2 serves most likely going to be enough to knock out the Rodriguez. But as we see here, that is basically exactly what's going to happen now. Unless I play it a little bit more interesting. What I mean with this is I swap out now into my, ground type Pokemon against the grass type Pokemon of Tropius. because I need to get all the energy. I have to go for the full farm down, and this perfectly works out as I still have a Shadow Ball stored, saying goodbye to the opponent's Lantern with that one, and we can win the final battle. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.